Now that we have Solidworks loaded, we're going to make our first part. So click File at the top and select New. We're making a part, not a drawing, so we're going to choose Part here and click OK. Every part starts off as a sketch, so we need to be in the Sketch tab, and we will click Sketch, and we're going to sketch on the top plane. Our sketch will start off as a rectangle, so here we'll choose the rectangle tool. Make sure it's the center rectangle. Just click that. And go over to your axes here. These are your X and your Z axes. And just hover over until you see the little orange dot and click once. And if you move your mouse, you can see that there's a rectangle that's formed, and the center of that rectangle is at our origin. So just make it any size, it doesn't matter right now. Click. Hey, look, we have a rectangle. So now we need to make sure that it's the right size, because right now it's just some random size. So right here is the Smart Dimension tool. Smart Dimension. Move your mouse over to one of the edges. I'm going to choose the horizontal edge first. You'll notice that it turns orange if you hover over it. Wait till it turns orange and click once, and you can move your mouse, and you can see right now this is 7.04 inches long, and that's a little bit too long. So once we have it here, we'll click, and we'll change that 7.04 to 6 inches. So type 6, and then the green check mark. We're still in the dimension tool, so we'll go over to the vertical edge, we'll click, and it's about 3 1/3 inches, and that's too small. So click and change that to 4 inches. 4. You'll notice that everything turned black, and that means that our part is fully defined. Everything, every size is known, and there's no variability, which is good. That's always a goal. At this point, our initial sketch is finished, so we'll exit the sketch, and we'll save our work. So File, Save As, and you're going to save it as your last name _ tutorial. So for me, it'll be Bugner _ tutorial 1. Click Save. We now need to make this two-dimensional rectangle into a 3D prism. So right where it says Sketch, to the left of that, there's the option that says Features. Click Features and choose Extruded Boss Base. Hopefully your sketch is selected automatically, but if it doesn't turn yellow like this, click your rectangle. Right now what we can do is we can drag on this, and that'll make our box taller or shorter depending on how far we pull it up. But we want to set its height to be 2 inches. So over here where it says D1, change that to 2. That'll be 2 inches tall. And then click the green check mark. You can see that we now have a three-dimensional part. If you want to look at the bottom or the back edges that you can't see right now, if you hold in your scroll wheel on your mouse and move it, you can rotate it. So this is a handy little feature. Right now the material is not specified, it's some generic material, and we want to change that. So right click Material and select Edit Material, and by default steel comes up first, but we want to scroll down a little bit until we get to Copper Alloys. There's a little plus sign here, click it, and we'll choose the first one, Aluminum Bronze. So you click it, and then you click Apply down here, and then Close. And you can see that our part has now changed material. It went from being gray to sort of this brownish color. We're now going to make a hole through this part, and it's going to be on the top face. So I'm going to just hover over the top face and right click it, and right here is the option that says Sketch. So click Sketch, and we'd like to be able to be looking top down from it. It's sort of a weird angle right here. So if you hold Control on your keyboard and press 8, it'll take you to the normal view. So again, that was hold Control and press 8. The circle that we make is going to be centered at the same point where the rectangle was centered. So under the Sketch tab here, we're going to click the circle tool and move our mouse over to the origin. See that it turns orange. Click and just make a circle that doesn't go outside of the rectangle. The size doesn't matter. We're going to change it. And click the green check mark. Unfortunately, the circle is not the correct size. So we're going to use the dimensioning tool, Smart Dimension, to set its size. So I'm going to hover over it, and once it turns from blue to orange, you can click. And so you move your mouse and you can see the initial dimension is coming up. This is diameter 2.19 inches. That's too big. We want it to be 1.5 inches in diameter. That's the distance from end to end on the circle through the center. It's a little bit smaller now. Now it's the correct size. We'll exit our sketch. And we want this to be a hole. That's a feature. So we go to Features again. And instead of adding material, we're going to cut away material. So that's Extruded Cut. Hopefully it'll select your circle by default, but if it doesn't, click around here on the circle to select it. And if you look, it's saying blindly it's just going to cut 2 inches. And while that might work sometimes, we want it to always cut through the whole thing. So instead of blind here, select Through All. And that means your hole will go throughout the whole height of the part. Click OK. And now you can rotate your model to see that in fact a hole was cut out of it. At this point we should save our work. File, Save. Now another cool SolidWorks feature is that you can figure out how heavy this object is and how much space it takes up. Under the Evaluate tab here, click Evaluate. And then we want to explore some mass properties. So if you click Mass Properties, many things show up, including the mass, the volume, and the surface area. So make sure to write those down on your sheet.